So I've sent over 1 million B2B marketing messages with social platforms, and stick till the very end because last one will 100% shock you because nobody in B2B industry is talking about it. So let's start with first one. First one is gonna be definitely no, don't use it. Just waste your time. It's gonna be a waste of your time. And it is, drum roll, it's Instagram. Yeah, don't use it. I'll explain why. I'll just throw it. You don't need it. The issue is that, first of all, it's outdated, and most of the time, if you open the Instagram you have large follower base, you could get like 3 to 5 message requests per day, right? And the issue is that they are spam accounts usually, right? And people rarely really respond to Instagram, unfortunately. So if you are gonna send cold DMs to B2B as a B2B owner, right, then 100% avoid Instagram. There are 100% better ways that have higher response rates, right? So in terms of response rates, Instagram usually has pretty low response rates, so you could maybe hit at the best scenario if you are just starting out and you don't know how to write scripts at, let's say, 0.6%. So it's whack. It's completely whack, and you shouldn't most definitely start with Instagram because they are better platforms. So let's go to number 4, right? So number 4 is, drum roll, LinkedIn. So it's controversial because LinkedIn was actually pretty good, let's say 3 years ago, when they have higher limits, but currently it's good in terms of quality but not quantity. But for outbound specifically, you want quantity and quality, right? In terms of quality, LinkedIn has arguably one of the best leads from social platforms, but the only issue is that you can send only 20 DMs per account technically. And of course, there are ways how you can bypass it. So if you want to know how, then just schedule a call with me down below. But yes, LinkedIn is currently mad. You could get pretty high response rates. So response rates in LinkedIn usually could go up to 2%, right? So you could easily get 2%. But the only downside, so it's an upside, but the downside is going to be that you can send only 20 messages per day, right? Of course, once again, there are ways how you can bypass it legally, and that's why LinkedIn is number 4, right? So let's move to number 3, and number 3 might be an interesting one, but it could be a controversial as well because it could technically not be a social platform, but I still want to call it as a social platform because it's one of the OGs, right? So it's an email. Email has a great upside that you can do high volume, right? Let's take different color. So you can do high volume, right? You can send a lot of messages, like 4K messages per domain, right? So you can have high volume, but it's hyper competitive, and usually response rates are quite low, but the volume just outcompetes, right? So if you had to choose between LinkedIn and email, and you have a large budget, just do the email, right? Email is so simple. You can watch my videos where I basically give away a free lead list of emails, right? And you can use that, and that's great. So emails are great, and they usually have it depends. It depends if they are warm leads or cold leads. But I would say you could easily you should get along like something like 0.5%, right? On emails, a response rate, and you can send 4K messages, right? So it's an okay for 4K messages, right? So it's like 4K messages per domain, right? So, and you can set as many domains as you want, and there are of course ways. Email is becoming more and more strict in terms of outreach, so we have to use different platforms, right? So second and First one, nobody really talks about them, right? So those are underdogs that you should focus on if you are doing cold outreach as a B2B owner, right? So number two is going to be interesting one. So it's a Facebook, right? There are some people don't even know that you can actually, so there's a direct messages, right? On the same way as on Instagram, I throw it in the garbage because it's whack. Just because there are so many spam accounts, right? It's good in terms of quality of the leads because people with money hang around there, right? And on Instagram, there could be some spam accounts and they are usually promoting some crypto garbage, right? But on Facebook, there are actually quality people. It's something similar to LinkedIn, and but the only upside is that we can send more messages. We can send up to 50 messages per account, but I would suggest to go to 30 just in case. And you can set up a lot of accounts, right? You can set up proxies, and you can basically. So, proxy is basically a device. You log in into the device from your device, right? So, for example, this is my phone, right? And I can log into the other phone from my phone. So if it makes sense. So this is phone A, phone B. I can log from phone A to phone B, and phone B does the outreach, right? So I technically have two phones on one phone, right? Or any other device. So this is why, and by the way, Facebook has a great response rate. Facebook has at least, you can get 5%, right? 5% response rate. And you can send 30 messages per account, right? So 30 per account, right? And you can set up easily. So you can send even 50 messages, but I'd really suggest. But if you just do a simple math, if you set up 10 accounts with 50 messages per day, it's 500 messages. And 500 messages, out of 500 messages, you get 5 replies. It's just a crazy amount of leads, right, in a day. So, and number one is basically the killer of all, right? So it's mix of email, mix of Facebook, a mix of LinkedIn, and it has large amount of volume, and you can easily get 3% reply rates, right? So it's basically an email in 2001 on steroids. That's how I call it, right? So this is gonna be shocking. Nobody really talks about it. Drum roll. @X/Twitter, right? On Twitter, you can send up to, it's crazy, it's ridiculous. You can send 500 messages per account, right? You can send 500 messages per account. You set up 10 accounts, the same way how you can do on Facebook, and you get 5K messages per day, right? Let me write it clear. 5,000 messages per day. And the response rates are usually 2 to 3%. It's just ridiculous. You can get easily 100 leads every single day just by doing Twitter outreach, right? So, and with one account, you could get 10 leads, right? It's maybe something similar if we do, let's say, 500 messages here. It would be 25 leads per day, right? So it would be 25 leads. And Facebook leads are qualified. In terms of email, we would usually get, like maybe 2 per domain per day. So 2 per day. It's going to be 25 per day. For Facebook, if we set up 10 accounts, if we set up, let's say, 10 domains, we could get 20 per day. But the best is 100% X. You can easily get 100 leads per day. Worst case scenario. Because for me, I got 5.5, sometimes even 6% on X. On Facebook, I get 10% for me and my clients. And for emails, usually 1%, right? So I really love to focus on LinkedIn. Of course, there are ways how we can bypass it, but it's just not something that's efficient, right? So if you combine all of the outreach methods, if you just throw out in the garbage Instagram and focus on these three, plus if you have time and resources, you can do LinkedIn as well. Yes, then you 100% will strive as a B2B owner. And if you want, so my company actually own an AI marketing company that focuses on AI outbound systems. So if you want my company to send a system that will send at least 100K high personal AI messages per month to your ideal customer profile, then feel free to book a call with me down below, like and subscribe.